It's time for Feedback Friday! Live from the apocalypse, it's Feedback Friday! From the hidden bunker studios of LTTV in LaGrange, Illinois, it's time for Feedback Friday, your chance to connect with other humans over the interwebs and talk with them about all sorts of interesting things and ridiculous things. And now, here's your host, Bill Allen. Hey everybody, welcome to Feedback Friday. It's me. We're live from the apocalypse here in LaGrange, Illinois. Carafa and I have a steady diet of ramen and Coke Zero. So without further ado, Carafa, a Coke Zero, please. This is a cup for my paintbrushes. These are some minis that I'll be painting while doing Feedback Friday and talking with all of you people. So in case you didn't notice, we've been putting in some videos. It occurred to me that we have 4K cameras and we really haven't done a lot of 4K content. And what better content to do than miniature painting in 4K? Carafa will now bring the Memorial Tricky Troy Coke Zero fridge. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Troy. Thank you, my patrons. Ah, the sweet, sweet sound of a cherry vanilla Coke Zero cracking open. Instant energy. So, it has been busy here. The first week of e-learning has commenced. Now, for a lot of teachers, this has been a struggle, but for me, it's pretty easy because, well, frankly, when you teach media, you work with students and you meet them at their level. So, some of the more advanced students have their own equipment. Some only have maybe a phone to shoot videos with. And what I'm trying to encourage them to do is think outside of the box and improvise and adapt. And I encourage them to make a video every day, even if it's just a short vlog about what they're doing or their feelings on things. I think it's a great opportunity, actually. This whole situation really sucks for a lot of people, but I think it's a great opportunity to teach us all some lessons about what is important in life. And when you're faced with adversities and challenges in life, instead of being overwhelmed by them, try to look at maybe some of the positives. I don't know if there are any positives to the coronavirus outbreak, but maybe there's positives to how we deal with adversity when we have to face it. So, as I mentioned, earlier this week, I made a huge decision, which was I wanted to put out as much content as we had. We had recorded some sessions that I hadn't edited, so I took advantage of the time I have this week, and I edited everything, and I put it out today. In fact, I think episode 13 is airing right now. So, the reason why I wanted to do that was because I feel like a lot of people are stuck at home, either in self-quarantine or in some areas. Maybe your municipality has instituted like a shelter-in-place thing, and you really don't have a lot of opportunities to, connect with other people. And I wanted to make some opportunities for you guys to at least have something interesting to watch. And I knew that if I put out all the content that it would force us to also have to improvise. And so in so doing, I invested in some technology, and I also invested in a Zoom Pro account. And Carafa and I diligently worked yesterday to test out the process for doing Zoom. And we think it's going to work. So it took a little bit of tech maneuvering. And some of you guys actually gave us some very valuable feedback during the Zoom test. So I am happy to tell you that I have made a new overlay and we have increased the size of each of the player boxes. So more of the screen will feature their faces. And that was directly in response to the feedback you guys gave us during yesterday's live Zoom test. We also have worked out the kinks with audio, so we think that that should work well going forward. So I guess the point is now you guys have a whole bunch of episodes to watch. And my goal is to engage with my students in the Vixens and the Medusas, and hopefully the Bard Odyssey. And we will all continue the campaigns, and it will be live, which will be new for us because most of the time we have not done D&D with high school students live. But basically that's the only way we can do it. So going forward, if this all works out, you will be tuning into live episodes. And they will be scheduled in advance so you guys know when they're happening. Figuring out the schedules might still be a little tricky, but I think basically because of everything going on with the quarantine, most people have an abundance of open time. Let's tune into the chat and say hello to everyone because so many of you have joined us. Ann Adams, it is good to see you, my friend. Supposed to be getting ready for work, but delaying that by an hour. Yay! Welcome, Annie. I hope that you guys are all being safe and smart, and I'm sure you are. If you have the time to tune in right now, it probably means that you aren't suffering from a coronavirus affliction. DoD Spec Ops is in the house. Ina is here. Hi, Ina. Hi, Nadine. Yes, so today's setup for Feedback Friday is a little different because I thought we would do a little mini painting while answering questions and talking with you. Jordan's on. Hello, Jordan Cole. Thank you for coming on yesterday to test Zoom. That was very helpful. Ina tuning in from across the world in Europe. Hopefully you guys are doing okay. I know it's, from what we see on the news, it seems like it's very scary in certain parts of Europe, particularly Italy and Spain. And I have a very close friend in France who also is kind of keeping me updated on stuff. So. Yeah, so you guys will have all weekend long to binge watch episodes because we put out the Vixens and 2 episodes of the Medusas today. So, and there's an episode of the Bard Odyssey. It's short, coming out tomorrow. But like I said, hopefully you will have a lot more content coming your way to keep you busy during this time of solitude. And we'll talk more about that stuff too. But in addition to all that, Monster Monday coming at you, Crafty Thursdays coming at you, and the new series that I've been doing, which is like mini painting in 4K. Karaf and I have already put out the first couple components of that, which were prepping and priming. And then I have multiple parts for mini painting that will be coming out, all in 4K. And it looks really good. I'm editing a couple, and a couple have been posted, so check the channel. You'll see that they're listed with premieres, so you know when to tune in. I, for one, am very proud of the advancements of this channel, especially how small we started out and the best by far support from patrons and friends. I would agree, DoD. I would agree, and I toast to all of you guys. Stay smart, stay healthy, and we will get through this. This too shall pass. You know, the other thing that I wanted to mention too, I'm not really at a position to have multiple windows open just because I have a little laptop. But on Patreon, me and the patrons had a long time desire to start up a Discord. I put it off and put it off. And finally, a couple of the patrons, Michael and Eric, started building this thing up, and the other patrons joined in, and now we have like this fully functional Discord channel that is just rocking. Now there are areas within the Discord channel that are designated for patrons. That is their right, since they support the channel financially, but much of the Discord is open to all fans and subscribers. And I am so happy to let you know that already there are people talking about organizing online games. That is like phase 2 of the dream, which is to connect people in a community and start playing online. So if one of my lovely patrons, maybe Michael, or if Eric's on, if one of you guys could share an invite link to the Discord on this live stream, that would be awesome. I guess my understanding of the Discord invites is that they are a 24-hour invitation. In other words, after 24 hours, they expire and you have to post a new one. So if you have the opportunity and you want to check it out, it's great. From an old person perspective, the way I look at Discord is it reminds me a lot of old school bulletin boards on the internet. Long before the web, there were text-based bulletin boards, and you would dial in with your dial-in modem, and you'd go on these text bulletin boards, and people would post things, and you'd respond, and it was kind of like a little online community before the web. And it reminds me a lot of that format. So it's kind of a cool way to connect with people, to share ideas, share topics, and it's already it's becoming an amazing thing. And I see a lot of opportunity with Discord, and I want to engage more with it. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be awesome. Oh, Annie, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I'm excited to say that our Patreon community is awesome. And I think one of the things that makes it awesome is that it's not just like fans of the channel. It really is community focused. Like everybody involved is adding to it and contributing and offering different things, and it's cool. You know, we have expertise in a lot of different areas. There are people who are really savvy with rule sets. There are really savvy people with like setting up things on the Discord, with like setting up automated things. There are D&D lookups on our Discord, which are awesome. Like you can just look stuff up right away, and you know, other kind of mechanical assistant things. And I mean, and then there's other levels of expertise too. Some of my patrons are very handy at crafting. There are some patrons who are really good at making maps. There are some very talented and creative writers and artists. There are mini painters like DoD Spec Ops. So there's a lot of cool things going on. And you know, if you want to be involved, the Discord is a great way to connect with my patrons, who I see as kind of like the stalwarts. They are the leaders of the online community that we're building here. So, and they're all super nice and super supportive. And I wouldn't have it any other way. That's how I feel about them. So, here's an update from Ina. Bosnia is not so bad at the moment. Social distancing is enforced. Stores close at 6 p.m. Restaurants and bars are closed. But all in all, it's not as bad as Italy or Spain, thank God. I am grateful for that update. Thank you. It's here in Chicago, it's kind of funny because some of the suburbs have gone very like hardcore, where they're doing shelter in place, where they really don't want anybody leaving their houses even. And then, you know, parts of the city of Chicago are kind of a lot more cut off than other parts. So it's for me, it's a strange situation because I need to connect with people. I'm an extrovert, so I feed off of other people's energy, you know, and I'm a hugger. Like when I see somebody I know, I like to, you know, go in for a hug, and it's hard to, social distancing is hard for me. I know for other people, it's like a dream come true, right? But for me, it's just a little bit different. I like to connect with people. So I'm not gonna lie, you know, this thing was hitting hard for a while. And one of the things that helps me is making the content for the channel. It gives me a purpose every day. And it gives me something that I feel like, I don't know, what else am I going to do? I can't do anything else to help anyone else, really. So if I can keep things going and, you know, make more connections and help people connect online to play games or just to connect, just talk, just share a thought, you know, I think it's good. And maybe, you know, people being distracted from the bombardment of news about the coronavirus every day, everywhere you go. Maybe people need that. They just need a little break from it. So yeah. Yeah, I will say this, guys. I have talked to a lot of people in the last week, and it's all very different perspectives. You know, some people are totally freaked out by the coronavirus and you know, are super protective and social distancing and everything, and they've like self-quarantined. And then there are other people who are kind of like middle of the road where they're taking precautions, but they're still going outside and taking the dog for a walk and that kind of stuff. I am cautious and I'm smart and safe, but I also am not quarantining myself. In fact, I just went to the grocery store today. And let me tell you, you see a wide variety of people at the grocery store. I mean, I saw people like in hoodies with, you know, ventilator masks and gloves on. I saw, you know, people walking around. I saw a lot of old people, and it blows my mind. They're the most susceptible to this virus, and I saw just too many old people out of the grocery store, and it kind of made me sad because part of it made me wonder, like, do they not have anybody to go shopping for them, or, you know, what would motivate them to take chances like that and to have to go out to a grocery store that likely has, you know, a lot of people and germs and stuff like that. So, but I am taking precautions. I've been eating pretty healthy, getting a lot of sleep, taking vitamins, doing some light exercise, staying hydrated, washing my hands. For me, that part's really easy because I'm kind of OCD about germs anyway. So even before all this stuff happened, I would probably wash my hands like 30 times a day. Not touching my eyes and nose and mouth, that kind of stuff. So yeah, be safe, be smart, have faith, stay healthy. Oh, Jordan, I miss Jordan. I miss all my kids, you guys. This week, the hardest part about this week has been not coming to school and seeing the kids. Because when you see these kids every day, they become part of your family, especially here at LTTV. You know, some of them are here multiple periods a day. They're here for class, they hang out at lunchtime, and, you know, they're like family. And it's hard not seeing my kids. It's hard telling them that they can't come into the studio. Melissa texted me to ask if she could come in to work on stuff, and I had to tell her no. And I'd love to have her come in, and but I'd love to see all of them, but it's just, we're not at that point. And I think here in our area, we're supposed to be off of school and doing e-learning for the next couple weeks, and I think that's optimistic. In fact, I think a lot of colleges and schools around the country are already saying that they're going to be closed through April. So even more reason. I'm looking at this situation, and it's a crummy situation, and I think about that old aphorism about making lemonade out of lemons. And Karafa and I have been hard at work, because what else are you going to do during this time? So, we're working on digitizing dozens of programs. We have thousands of programs on tape and DVD, so we started digitizing programs. We've been cleaning and disinfecting areas. In the next couple weeks, we're going to be doing an overhaul on the studio. We're going to clean it, wipe down the walls. We're going to put up a new coat of paint. Just a lot of different things, anything that we can do to kind of take advantage of the time that we have to be productive and to do something good. So that's kind of what we're doing. And while we're doing it, we're going to keep producing content. So yeah, Ina says that they not being able to go out and go biking, and yeah, it's hard. It's hard to miss people. DOD says 3 weeks shut down in my area in Northern California with shelter in place as of Wednesday. Alexis says down in Louisiana, shut down till at least April 13th. This is only week 1. I had to tell my kids, pace yourselves, you know. And also, at a certain point, you guys, you get to a point where you're like, what else can I do? And maybe more importantly, what can't I do? And you have to just get to a point where you understand that this is how it is, and you got to make the best of it, you know? Think about what's happening in the world right now. And if you said to me 3 weeks ago, do you think this is going to be a big deal? I'd say no. 2 weeks ago, I would have said, well, it'll be a big deal, and yeah, we're canceling our school trips, but everything will be fine. A week ago, it started to get real. And by the end of this week, this first school week of e-learning for us, it's been real, very real. And I think rather than wallowing in despair, I find myself asking questions like why, you know, why, not so much like why is this happening, but like why are we here? What is our purpose, you know? And maybe we should take a look at this time and reflect and think about life. Think about how fragile life is, and not in a scary way, but in a beautiful way. We're all alive right now, this very second. I'm talking to you through the webs, and we're all alive, and thank God we're healthy. And that's it. Thank God. Like, we're healthy. So I don't know if there's much deeper thought that needs to be thought, but maybe it's just, you know, in this time, take a moment to reflect. Be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for who you have. You know, if you have family and friends and they're healthy, thank God for that, you know. And if you have a job and you're able to do, you know, do your job and continue to get a paycheck and pay your bills, that's a blessing. Because I look around at people who are out of work right now, people who work in restaurants and bars who, you know, are struggling, who maybe they didn't even have savings. And it's, you know, it's just a lot. It's a lot. It's a tragedy for those people. And being grateful for what you have and being compassionate to those people, I think, is a good human thing. It's a good way to feel. I don't feel guilty for what I have. I just feel grateful for what I have. And I feel sad for those who are struggling through this time. And if there are things I can do to help those people, certainly I would. You know, and as an example, like I've gone out to pick up dinner twice this week. Once through a drive-through and once at a restaurant I did carry out. And I felt like maybe that was doing my part for those restaurants. Because, you know, if they're struggling by being closed to the public, you know, if I have the money and I can afford to go out and get carry out or get delivery, maybe that's helping those, you know, those restaurants out. I know it's not helping out servers because they can't work, but if the restaurants are afloat, then maybe after all this is said and done, then those people can get their jobs back and get back to work. So I don't want to get too political, but I just think as a human connecting with you guys, that's kind of how I feel. And this week has really made me reflect and be grateful that I have my health and that my family's healthy. not just my kids and my wife, but like my extended family all over, my California family, my Florida family, Georgia family, everybody, you know, around, thank God so far is healthy. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the blessings that I have. And I'm grateful for you guys. It's fun to connect, see? Little distraction from the chaos. Yeah, Scrotman. Wife has a birthday. Yeah. I will say that I have had 2 people have to cancel their weddings and 1 person cancel their birthday. Actually 2. I had to cancel my son's birthday party. And then a friend of mine was going to have a gathering tomorrow for his birthday. Happy birthday, Jimmy. And that had to be canceled. And 2 weddings had to be canceled, which I feel really bad for those people. That sucks. And hopefully, God willing, we'll get through this and those people will be able to celebrate in the summertime or whenever it is that we're declared to be safe to mix and mingle again. Nadine says this is time, unfortunately, when you see who is lawful or chaotic good. Yes. Michael, I don't see the link posting, so maybe what I'll have to do is have, I don't know, maybe Crawford will post it. So while we're chatting, I'm going to paint some stuff. These were things that I started during episodes of Crafty Thursday, so I want to give you an update. The first update on this nice camera. How's it look, Dave? There's Trizzle. There's Trizzle. Couple coats of paint, still not finished. He's getting there, though. Man. I never thought a tiefling would be that hard to paint, but that purple is rough. Now, it did dry significantly better. Yep, coming along, Troy, coming along. I still have, I need to do a little bit of touch-up work and highlighting around his gloves and boots. And I need to do a little bit of facial reconstruction. His eyebrows, his nubs, and his facial hair, and then his eyes. The eyes are truly the hardest thing to do. Does that seem really dark to you? If I move it closer, is it more visible or less visible? Oh, shit. Well, no, I got this.
You have a real time
But it's, yeah, it's 30 seconds behind. Don't, yeah, okay, that's what I was going to say. Just do that. Carafa, everybody, saving the day. There it is.
You see it?
Yeah.
Well, you're surrounded by cameras.
I'm surrounded by cameras and monitors. There we go.
Can you do that?
Yeah, dude. That's the deets right there, buddy. That focus is hella. Let me move this light a little bit. Oh my God, now it's beaming me in the eye. Okay, bear with me, people. Bear with me. Yeah. Yeah, it's Trizzle. Okay, then we have this, I don't know what this is. Is she like a ranger lady? Still seems really dark. guess not. All right, back to 1. So I'm going to work a little bit on this stuff while we're chatting, guys. Just because. Just because. So, where to start? Oh, you know what, Dave? Go back to 2 for a second. I got to refocus this. Is that focused? Okay, all right. Bill Allen, off on the highlights. Use some washes that will darken the deep spots and make light of the more vibrant colors. Then go back and use a lighter tone of the colors you have used in Edge. That's good feedback from DoD Spec Ops, a man who I can trust. Yeah, maybe that's it, DoD, because I feel like I'm just not seeing the kind of tone. Like if I put my eyes right up to this, I really see a lot of like cool little like details and wrinkles and stuff in his jacket and like along his shirt and his belt. So maybe that wash would be a good first component to do there. And we have a number of washes available in the Army Painter kit. All right, so trying to decide who to paint next. Should I paint the big bad Goliath? Yes, I'll paint the Goliath. All right, so this Goliath has, his skin is pretty good for that first coat. His green skirt is pretty good. But he's got fur-backed boots, and so I need some leather. Need some leather. I need 2 kinds of brown, people. I need leather brown, and I need a fur or oak brown. Oh, fur brown. Yeah, there's my fur brown. So here's how I remember whether or not I put a BB in this. Nope, no BBs. You know what that means. Dave, I need you to bring the plug. It's time to fire up DoD's Shaker Shake. So I have a separate tray for all the paints that I've put BBs into. This is DoD's Shaker Shake device. Yeah, here, give me the box. That's got the shaker. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Yeah, buddy. You guys ready to get it on? Fire it up. It's time to shake and bake. There's really no baking that will be happening here. Pull this out, set that down there. Got paint all over my hand because I'm a dummy. Pull this out. Is that my mic making all that noise? Yeah. Damn it, Krava. So you take a BB, you drop one in on each side. Am I doing this right, DoD? Am I doing it right, buddy? Close it up. Close it up. Shaky, shaky. Time to paint. Well, that brown is. All right, here we go, man. Ready? Huh. Isn't that cool? See? shook. Oof. Strap on. Oh, I got paint all over this, man. How did I do that? I'm dumb. I'm dumb. This is so awesome. Here we go. Okay, so I got a couple browns. Thank you, Shaky. No problem, Bill. This Shaky, courtesy of DoD Spec Ops. Now, perhaps more importantly, the wet palette. All right. So I'm gonna move these guys over here. They're in line to get some more paint, but since we're working on my boy the Barbarian, the Goliath. So this is the Stay Wet palette that DoD got, and you can see it's got a sponge and a paper, and this keeps the paint from drying out. Very nice. So I'm gonna put a little bit of my fur brown there and a little bit of the leather brown over here. Similar, but the fur brown has a little bit of more of the kind of like a red tone. So it's a little warmer color tone, I think, which is kind of what I like for the idea of the fur codpiece thing here and the back. So I'm going to get that fur along the back first. And I think this will definitely be the beneficiary of several washes later down the line. But for right now, I'm digging how this looks. It's kind of a light, warm color. Yeah. All right. Okie dokie. You know what's funny is this fur brown is very close to his flesh tone. So I might have to darken that up at a certain point. Scrotman. Good point, Scrot. Normally I would use a holder, but this, the painted head is pretty dry. Okay, so that I'm gonna let that dry because I'm not sure if that's too light. I don't know if I'm gonna like that. Let me see if I got anybody else who's gonna need some of that fur. Yeah, you know what? In fact, I'm gonna use that fur brown on this halfling's head. kind of doing an upstroke here. It's a little bit tricky to get down in there because of the way that the hair lays over this person's head. I don't really want to get any paint on their face. But I like the color. It's a nice warm brown. Let's see. You need some sticky putty and medicine bottles, yes. Or a piece of chewed gum and a 20-ounce bottle of soda. That would be another option.
So, of course, there would be a problem with using iShow with Catalina.
Is that seriously happening?
Mm-hmm. So, I found some guy on YouTube that has a workaround so that you can still use it with Catalina.
Oh yeah?
Put your thumb there.
What's the workaround? Is it like just uninstall everything? Let's just switch to a PC.
Maybe.
No. I don't wanna. I wanna use my Mac. God, I hate doing facial features and tight things. This is so much harder than I thought it would be. So I also didn't prime these minis. These are the Reaper minis. So I don't know how well this first round of hair is going to stick. Let him dry off over there. Come back to Nubs the Barbarian. All right, not bad. So that dried kind of like this. Not horrible. Not horrible. Let me just hit that. I missed a couple spots there on the fur. So I saw an interesting thread on Twitter. It was like, what game would you play that a lot of people don't play anymore if it could come back? If it could make a comeback. And I thought a lot about that. There are a lot of games from the old days that I don't even know if I would know how to play unless I had somebody to show me because it's been like 30 years. So what games would you play? What games would you play, friends? I would play Top Secret. Top Secret. It's a fun spy game from the classic old TSR days where you could play an investigator, an infiltrator, or a assassin. It was kind of in the peak of that 80s Cold War thing. And I know they have a new version of it, but I don't know anything about it. Haven't had a chance to check it out. But I had many fun adventures with the friends back in the day playing Top Secret. This sculpt, I don't know if she's supposed to be like a gnome, druid or something, but she's tiny. But the features are incredible. Like little tiny details. Shalendor also says that Top Secret was fun. It was. It really was. I feel like it challenged your brain when you played that game. You had to really think about how to solve problems and how to get out of situations.
Tight.
Oh. In case you're wondering, Carafa is configuring my MacBook and installing all sorts of software on it so that we can play games. Teenagers from Outer Space. Is that, Shalendor, is Teenagers from Outer Space like one of those newer games that's kind of like an 80s throwback vibe, like a Stranger Things thing? Because I know there have been a lot of those kind of games recently that have come out, like Monster of the Week and Tales from the Loop. A bunch of those kind of sounding games. Man, there is just a lot of texture in this crazy lady's hair. So I've thought about bringing my magnifying glass in. I have one of those stands that has the big magnifying glass and the ring light, and I kind of need it because my vision sucks. This is definitely a 2-layer head of hair. But it's coming together, yo. It's coming together. I'm digging it. It's a wild mane of hair. Okay, you can dry over there with the other little people. Little people, the little people. Gnome, halfling, and then Goliath. Goliath. Oh, you know what, dude? I forgot. I was going to paint this guy's hair. I don't know what this guy is, like an orc shaman? What do you guys think he is? I'm thinking like orc shaman because he's got like a skull staff. The nice thing about the James Bond RPG, I'm assuming you mean Bond. That would be pretty funny if there was a James Bond RPG. Is once you reached 0-0 status, it could be run with just the GM and the player if necessary. Coworker talks all the time about wanting to play Pathfinder again. Jordan Cole says Jackbox party games that were popular. Jordan, they are fun. I like those Jackbox party games too. Yes, Scotty says it's James Bond. Bean Moon. What's Bean Moon? Hey, Topo Musical. Greetings and welcome. Welcome to the Fallout Shelter. Welcome to the apocalypse. All right, so I'm looking at this shaman dude, and he has a drum strapped to his back. He's wearing like a cloak, shabby robes, and he's got long hair, but I think his hair should be gray and not brown. I do, however, think that I could paint his drum in a festive brown color. So his drum is going to be a base color that's this nice brown, fur brown. It'll be like a lighter wood. And then the skins will have to be some kind of a lighter beige with some white highlights maybe. Yes, now we're talking. My goal with the Apocalypse is to get much better at painting minis. And there's no lack of practice opportunities, guys, because I have like 30 modern minis that I have to paint in order for us to be able to do Call of Cthulhu. Which, oh, I forgot to mention, we're going to be doing Cthulhu a lot. We better, because I spent like $300 on Cthulhu things. Okay, drummer. There's his tribal drum. Doom, 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 doom. Drums in the deep. Drums in the deep. This Coke Zero Break brought to you by no one. Brought to you by no one today. Brought to you by my patrons at Patreon. That hits different. Okay, that drum has to dry. I'm going to put him on the barbarian side of the table. And then, since my wet palette is still fantastic, thanks DoD, I'm going to rinse out this here brush. We are going to move on to the darker brown. So I'm going to use this to accent the highlights, or not the highlights, sorry, the leather armor and the boots and the gauntlets, the leather gauntlets. So this should be a little bit darker, or actually a lot darker. It's a deeper brown. So his boots and his gauntlets will be a base leather. And his straps. He has straps across his chest. Might be hard to see on the cutaway camera. But this is the brown that I'm looking for. This nice, deep leather brown is literally what it's called in the Army War Painter kit, leather brown. So I'm going to go in here. And gonna... Yeah, this is definitely going to be 2 coats, man. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Anybody in Canada? Just wondering how Canada's doing. I have a French friend who's like a mother to me, who lives in Montreal. And she's basically self-quarantining because she is of the demographic that is most susceptible to this disease, this virus. She's in her 60s, late 60s, and so I'm hoping that she'll be okay. All right, my dude has a leather gauntlet on both sides. He's got leather boots with fur in the back and metal plates at the knees. Oh, yay! we did stock up. So here's the funny thing, Ann Adams. Thank you, Annie. You'll notice I'm drinking cherry vanilla. Literally, like an hour and a half ago, I went to Jewel, our local grocery store, and they had no Coke Zero. No, like zero Coke Zero. Just cleaned out. So there was either cherry vanilla Coke Zero or Carafa. What's that other fruity Coke Zero that you like? Yeah, orange vanilla. I draw the line. Carafa likes it, but I don't. So I got the cherry vanilla. Thank you, sweet Anne. Do. All right. So I'm liking this. It will need 2 coats, and that's basically because I didn't prime this. This was the kind of stuff started during the Crafty Thursdays with the kids before the apocalypse kicked in. So did not have the primer set up. Now, of course, I got the primer set up. And if you haven't watched the 4K series on minis, you should. Dave and I spent some time this week producing it, and we found one beautiful day. Wasn't that a beautiful day, Dave? It was sunny, like 50 degrees. Sunny, 50 degrees. It was gorgeous. We went outside.
And now it's cloudy.
And now it's cloudy. We did some spray priming outside with my priming boards. And now it's just shitty and cold.
Tomorrow's supposed to drop down to 39.
Yep, tomorrow's 39 degrees, DOD.
And then the rest of the week is going to warm it back up again next week.
This weather break brought to you by Carafa, from the apocalypse. Okay, I like that. I like this deep brown. It's coming through, man. If it's hard to probably see the difference. It's very subtle, but the fur has a kind of a warmer reddish tone, and this dark leather brown is much more of a true leather, which I really like. I dig it. I dig it, Mr. Goliath. So you might be asking, Bill, do you just buy these minis hoping that you'll use them? The answer is yes, but I also buy them sometimes knowing that I'll use them. Well, how do you know if you're going to use a mini, Bill? Well, kids, because where the Medusas are going, they're bound to run into lots of Goliaths. Hashtag spoilers, not spoilers. Breathe, Bill, breathe. Don't.
Do you know what next week is?
Spring break. Crawford's birthday?
Next week is when I finally get the soil temperatures going to be warm enough for me to throw down.
The lawn sensei has spoken, people. Carafa says that next week it'll finally be warm enough for him to throw down on the Malorganite, his secret weapon against weeds and strengthening his grass. That's right, you'll be able to catch lots of episodes of the Lawn Sensei by following K9 Carafa on Instagram or TikTok, but mostly TikTok nowadays. All right, good. Now I am going to try the unthinkable. Well, it's actually very thinkable, but I'm going to try to not paint on his flesh. I'm going to try to paint just the leather straps that hold his armor on without effing it up. got a little bit on his flesh. So there's going to be a bit of touch-ups needed. Oh well, said Bill. Nothing you could do about that. Nothing you could do about that. Okay. All right, I'm going to let him dry. The more I mess with him, the more I'm going to mess it up. Why is the stream so laggy, David? 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 David?
I don't know. Maybe it's because everyone and their mother is home watching Netflix.
Yeah, true.
But I'm getting good streaming numbers on OBS here, so.
Okay. Well, then I
It's
won't
not,
bother you. I'll just shut up. Okay. Next step, using this same leather brown, it's time to get funky with the Druid, because she's wearing a whole mess of little armor. I gave her a green skirt thingy, but I'm going to paint her boots now. Tiny, tiny little features. Very petite. Am I still in the frame, Big Dave?
Yeah, right there. You can go down a little bit. Yeah, and then move your hand.
It's hard to paint for the camera. It is not always ideal. Mama just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Mama, life had just begun, but now I'm gone and thrown it all away. Doom, doom, mama. Ooh. I screwed up. Man, I need that magnifying glass. I'm gonna. Next week, I'm bringing my magnifying glass in. Croft is gonna have to help me carry it in. Jordan's using up all of the Wi-Fi. Yes. Use up the Wi-Fi. Okay. I will not be defeated by this small boot. I must paint it correctly. She's got like 7 weapons. It's ridiculous. It's a very complex, overly complex sculpt. Unnecessarily complex. And I totally should have primed it. What if we played a game of D&D right now, just from my mind? The wooden handle for this little I don't know if it's her like holy symbol or her actual weapon. I don't know. But it's kind of a pain in the ass. I paint the bottom of that brown. I'm going to have to go back over it with some metallic. Okay. All right, she's going to need some more variety there. This dude has a whole lot of metal. I'm going to skip him for right now. Oh, my ranger lady. Yeah, she needs... No, she's kind of metal too, though. Her sleeves are brown. So here's a fun thing. Karafa and Ben are transferring films. Like literal films, not video. They bought a film capture telecine machine, which basically scans one frame of film at a time and allows you to transfer a digital scan, and then it recompiles each of the scans and makes a movie out of it. Isn't that cool? Yes, Bill, that's cool. Have you ever wanted your character to die because you have a character in mind that you'd rather play? Scrotman. That's literally the story of almost every campaign I've ever played. Do you know why? Because I get bored really easily most of the time. Unfortunately, it is the curse of Bill Allen that you should be bored with your own characters. Now, I will say that I've gotten better about that recently, maybe because I build more interesting characters that I won't get bored with as easily. But I have suicided characters before. Just doing stupid things because I didn't want to play them. And it's funny because, you know, I don't consider myself as someone who hastily builds a character. I usually put a lot of thought into the characters, but I found that I can get bored playing in games sometimes, and then an idea for another character comes along, and I'm like, ooh, I want to do that, but I'm stuck with the current character. So I've suicided some characters just out of a desire to play something different. So I commiserate with you, my friend. Then I've also had characters that I loved die. And sometimes the death was not cool. Sometimes it was, but sometimes, quite often, it was not a cool death. I don't mind if my character dies if it's like a memorable moment and it's somehow integrated into the story in a clever way. But if a character dies just because, it kind of sucks. All right. I'm digging where this is going. I got to paint her quiver of arrows. Paint dries in so many funny different little ways. Every paint kind of has its own way of drying, its own kind of slight color shift, and Tone shift. Okay, she's a little bit better. Got more of her leather and wood features going. I'm going to set her aside over there with the wild folk. The wild folk. All right, so let's go back to our halfling boy. His hair is dry, which is good. His outfit, I'm done with the dark brown because he's going to have like black and purple and stuff, so he's kind of good. I might just fill in a little bit of his. No, actually I don't. That's not a scabbard. It's actually part of his cloak. Okay, good. Done. Dunzo. Okay, there's Trizzle. Trizzle. Just doing a little boot touch up on Triz. Okay, and Trizzle's gloves on this side. A little bit of a touch up on the brown. Okay, done. Don't want to mess with that too much. What do you think, Troy? Yep, coming along. This is a troll. This is a troll. He is trollish. I will paint his hair. It will be a dark brown of color, like the color of leather. That is a glossy green, boy. Glossy green. Glossy. I'm so happy you and the girls like my doodle of my high elf noble sorcerer we sent you. Yes, we love it. We love all the cool gifts. We've gotten so many cool gifts over the years from fans, and artistic things and cool crafty things. And it is always fun. And also yummy things. Troy brought like a whole bunch of yummy candies and pastry treats that lasted about an hour, because you know when you work at a high school with kids and somebody's like, I have sweet things, they are devoured. The dragon must be fed. Okay, so this troll has like dreads basically, and painting these dreads is challenging. I think this will be darkened up with a wash anyway, but I I got a lot of green when I was doing the base coat. And Beth started this stuff, I think. Was it Beth? I think it was Beth. I don't remember. But anyway, this is one of those projects that we started on Crafty Thursday. And now I'm just doing it. It's kind of cool that there's a little green undercoat anyway, I guess. It just adds to like the dirty mottliness of the troll. It's cool. I dig it. I dig it. Oh, there's a whole bunch of areas that I missed. Whole bunch of zone. Little bit of detail, little bit. Going in for a real tight spot here to get the dreads. Get the brown on the dreads. Totally in there. But I don't want to hit too much of the troll's skin. Okay, good. I'm happy with that. Now, it looks like he's wearing a loincloth, but I don't want that to be totally evident as perfect. So a day ago, I used these flesh tones. A day ago, people, literally an entire day ago, I used these flesh tones. And they are still damp thanks to the power of the Stay Wet palette. So I'm just going to put on a layer of this light kind of tone. These details are getting me. Since I have time on my hands, like many of us now, I need to get my drawing pencils out and make her a real awesome character drawing. Yes, Ina, I think we have time on our hands, and one great way to use that time is to be creative. And if you're like, oh, but I'm not a creative person, I don't have mad art skills. A lot of us think that, but then we discover that we do once we try it. Or we discover that we don't, but either way it's fine, honestly. Just doing the art itself is therapeutic. It's good for you. You should do the art. All right, now we're just going to dip into this loincloth with a little more of this kind of brownish flesh tone. I imagine that the troll probably skinned some people or animals to make its flesh loincloth come to life here. So we're just going to go around here and get that on there, and we'll have to go over and do some touch-ups, but that's just fine. Painting is about making some mistakes sometimes and being okay with that. Now this troll has a rope, looks like a rope belt. So what we'll do after this first coat on the loincloth dries is we'll go back over there and we'll fix that rope belt and darken it up a little bit to make it what we need it to be. And it'll be just fine. Just fine. It's going to be a wonderful troll when it's all done. Yes, indeed. Now, under the skirt, not like people often like to look under a troll skirt, but we're just going to get that color in there as well. We can always darken that up later, but we just want to get a little separation there between the troll's skin and the loincloth. So just hit those tips there, get that paint on there. And I skinned some of the troll's leg with some of that color. But again, not a big deal. Don't worry about it. All things that we can fix later on down the line. But that troll's looking good, starting to come together. He's got the base coats on there, and we're going to go back over his skin anyhow with a lot of other greens. And probably darken up some of the parts there and do some highlights and do a wash. And we'll color in his base too. So a lot of things we can do. A lot of stuff we can do with that troll. It's going to be great. All right, and speaking of greens, we did put a coat of green on the skin for our orc shaman, but I would like to add this light fleshy tone that I've been working with, made up just by mixing some stuff. I'm going to add that to his drum skin. So I'm going to paint the drum skin this light fleshy tone. And it's very light, kind of watery coat initially. Not really great for a base coat. But, you know, again, we can go back over it if we don't like how it turns out. Yep, pretty good so far. Yep. And we're just going to add a little bit of a little gentle touch to that. Just add in some of that light, because a drum skin is literally a skin stretched over wood. So it's good that it looks like a skin, giving it a little bit of texture and just a little bit of separation from that lighter brown color that we put on for the wood itself for the drum, the frame, the drum frame, as it were. So we're just going to nick along the sides here and paint up, kind of in an upstroke there, to get that drum into where we need it to be. And again, we're going to probably end up going over this anyhow with a lighter kind of tan color to make the skin kind of washed out. I imagine that the skin would have been cured anyway, so it would probably be a lighter color. And over time, the sun would have probably bleached it a little bit. So that's good for a first coat on the drum skin there. Yes, indeed. All right. Yeah, that's looking good. Okay, so now what we have is this chain monk. I'm calling him a chain monk. He's, I was kind of going to put some ghostly lighter colors on him. So I'm going to kind of hold off on that for just a second. Clean out my brush. When can I come to the studio and give you your gift? Well, Michael, you can't, because an hour and a half ago, officially, the building was locked. Not just to students, but to everyone, like literally everyone, as in no one can come in, which is overall a bummer. But you can maybe meet me outside from 10 feet away. Bill's mic is fading. Hey, Carafa, kill my mic for a second. Bring it back up. Sorry about that. Topo, it was not your ears. I was talking quietly in a Bob Ross kind of fashion. Not necessarily to be funny, but more just because I was so close to the mic that I didn't want to blow out everybody's ears. So, I think this guy is good. I think he's pretty good for right now. Jordan, to answer your question, Carafa and I are on the approved list of people who can come into the studio. So next week we'll be back. We have a lot of projects to do, a lot. We're going to be cleaning, disinfecting, and painting. We're going to be doing more going through the archives and digitizing things. And of course, we hope to be able to be up and running with live D&D with high school students next week. So there will be a lot to do. Also, more mini painting. There's an episode of something coming out every day in the next few days, people. So make sure you stay tuned. And if you didn't catch all 3 of the episodes that launched today, you got an episode of the Vixens and 2 episodes of the Medusas. So binge watch all weekend. And tomorrow there's a short thing with the Bard Odyssey. And Sunday there's painting with painting minis in 4K. And Monday there's a Monster Monday and another episode of painting minis in 4K. So we have tons of stuff coming at you guys. And none of that would be possible if it weren't for your support. All of you guys, my patrons, your financial contributions and support are absolutely crucial to the continued viability of this channel and me and Carafa. So it is huge that you guys support us. We appreciate it. And to those fans and subscribers, you guys are helping out too. And I ask you in this time to share the content of the channel, share on social media, spread the word. I see people post stuff on Twitter and they're like, oh, I'm looking for good D&D content. What do you guys recommend? And it would be awesome if everybody just spread the word. The more people that tune into the channel from all different walks of D&D and gaming interest to mini painting and crafting, like all that stuff, Monster Mondays, anytime you see an opportunity to share, share, because your message or your retweets or your comments all help. So that's it for Feedback Friday, you guys. We're here. We're not going anywhere. We hope that you will stay healthy, be smart, stay safe, and have faith, because we will get through this, and we'll do it together. So thanks for watching. We love you guys. Peace out.